So when I got to the church this morning, there was quite the mess waiting for me on the front steps, and it was actually so bad. I wore gloves. Normally, it wouldn't even occur to me to wear gloves, but there's been, I bet you, a dozen overdoses in the last few weeks here in Norfolk. One of them a friend of mine. So yeah, there's obviously some bad fentanyl going around. I actually wore gloves when I was cleaning up, and as I was cleaning, I found all sorts of odd things. Needles, of course, cast off bits of clothing, which one would expect. Hundreds of elastics for some odd reason. There were cleats, there were extension cords, an arrow. It was this weird random collection of stuff just kind of strewn about and broken and picked apart. It was flotsam and jetsam of a disordered life, really, that just reflected a similarly disordered and random and chaotic mind. A mind that was broken, really. And as I was cleaning it up, I wanted to get angry. I wanted to be angry at the lack of respect for the church and the lack of respect that this individual has for themselves. And I wanted to be upset about it, but I couldn't. Because I just kept thinking about what sort of a person, what it must be like to live as this person, whoever did this. Because this is a person who most of us would consider makes the world a worse place simply by their presence. So the evidence of their presence was just the crap everywhere, right? So wherever they go, they bring this chaos and garbage and filth and disease and drugs and instability and just disorder, I guess. And for most folks would think that the world is a better off place without them. We would all be better off if we didn't have such folks around. So we push them off into the margins. I think in a lot of ways, we don't know what else to do, right? Because we can't reason with them, we can't help them. We try and house them and feed them, and they seem to be their own worst enemy. And so we give up. And there's a story in the New Testament where Jesus encounters a very similar individual. Actually, we know him. Unfortunately, we know him as Legion. We don't actually know the man's real name. We just know the name of the host of demons that actually inhabited this man. We don't even know the man. But he was a similar guy. He was living among the tombs because the townsfolk, they didn't know what else to do aside from just push him out. They had tried to help him. He had family. They tried to help him. Didn't work. They tried to restrain him. They tried to lock him up. That didn't work. Nothing seemed to work. So eventually, they just had to give up and just push him out of town. They just couldn't tolerate his presence anymore. But Jesus discovered him, and not only that, as I read the gospel, it appears as though Jesus sailed across the Sea of Galilee specifically to see this man and restore him to his place, because he returned immediately afterwards. Now, I wonder how do we do the same thing that Jesus did, because that is what we're called to do. And I wonder how do I, as a minister, as a healer, as a pastor, how can I bravely step into that raging chaos and speak words of calm and words of healing? And I'm not going to wrap up this video with an easy answer for you folks either, because there isn't one. But I will make this observation that we see when Jesus dealt with this man who was possessed by a legion. He found his humanity. So he cast out the demons, he cast out the evil, he cast out those bad influences, and he found that humanity, and that's what he restored. He sought out the image of God that was still latent within this man, even though nobody could be around him and nobody could live with him. And so I suggest for myself and for all of us that's our first step, maybe. That as we deal with these folks who are so difficult and unhelpable and unlovable, that we really seek that image of God. We try and find the humanity that's left in them, and we fan that spark back into life. I pray that we have the strength and the courage and the ability to do such a thing.